live stream up on the computer so I can actually see what everyone else is saying. We should have a couple of join us in just a moment, but at the moment I'm all by myself, and they say the first sign of madness is talking to yourself, but I do that on a regular basis. Alison will tell you that. Wonder how many more people actually forget the password that they use on a regular basis. Right, so let's get that up, get rid of that. We don't want all these tabs opened up. Tabs will slow things down, and we don't want that at all. So we'll keep that one, go on there and get on the channel. Well, we've got 4 live viewers, got a thumbs up, thanks very much. I tell you what I'm going to do, because of the light, because of the reflection light, I'm going to shut this down a little bit, see what we've actually got, shut the blinds down, so I can actually, there, well, that's much better, Now I can actually see myself. So thanks for joining us Saturday morning live with Johnyboy. We're going live this morning. We've got to say a big thank you to the guys at ITS, supporters of this live feed. Richard Dow just joining. Morning from Newcastle underline. Rich, that's how I like to see. That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That's the way it's done. Sick Elias has joined us. How's it going, Steve? Morning. Hope you're as good as typing as me. Well, I'm not bad, but my grammar isn't very good, I can tell you about that. It's absolutely rubbish. But then again, you see people don't necessarily buy your grammar, do they? They buy you, they buy what you're about, your passion, your drive, and your focus, and how you do things and how you go about things. Just going to get the, let's get the videos up here. I've just got to get this, I don't even know how to find it at the moment. There we are, Saturday morning live, just turn that down. There we are. Oh, that's pretty good, so there we are. In a moment, I'll be able to see what people are saying. There we are. I can see it now. There's Richard on there. There we are. Move that up. I can actually see. There we've got Mike Stapleton here. Let's get rid of that now. Mike Stapleton joining us from Dartmouth and Devon. Highways and Driveways has just joined us. Brilliant. Look, this is how we do it. Listen, it doesn't really matter how many we have on here, because we know that people will watch us again. If you're joining the live stream, give it a big thumbs up. We just mentioned about ITS. ITS, they're a company that I value, and yes, they do support this channel. And they support this channel because they want to give back, and they're giving back through this channel. And I'll be totally frank with you, is that, and I've said this on a number of occasions, I've said it for years, is that we want to be valued as landscapers and contractors out there. When you're purchasing product of people, of companies, you want to be valued, and I think there's a little bit less of it is going on. Well, there we go. John Ward's just joined us. John, listen, thanks very much for all your comments. John Ward, your comments and the information you come back with is absolutely second to none. So I really, really appreciate it, John Ward. Good morning to you and Alison. No, thanks, John. I just love how you articulate things, John, and you come back. And I was talking to Lee Handy the other day. Lee is from Malvern. He was down there with Dan Wood, and you met up, and Lee was saying what a nice guy you are. So, John, it's about time we had a bit of a meet-up, isn't it? I think at some point. Let me see if I can just get, I don't know what's happening there. Let's see if I can just get up on that screen. Let's just seem to slow it up there. The original Larry, first time watching, been watching a lot of videos lately, always helpful. Well, look, listen, thanks very much for that original Larry. I want to know where you're from, what you're doing. Phil Shaw has just joined us. Morning, John. You well, mate? Yeah, absolutely. Alice and I have had a brilliant break. We went to visit our daughter in Dubai, but it's not about that. This channel is about you. And yes, we did have a good holiday. So, yeah, it was great. It's funny how what comes up on here and what comes up with that in a moment. You notice just lately I've been doing a little bit of YouTube Shorts, and I really enjoyed it. Look, Carl Button's just joined us. So many people joining on at the moment. Community matters. Sharing knowledge makes the world a better place. Yeah, absolutely. Richard Dowd, I totally agree with you. It's great to have a first-time watcher. So first, let's go back to that, Rich, for a minute. The original Larry. Larry, want to know where you're from, what you're doing. Richard Dowd says, community matters. Sharing knowledge makes the world a better place. Carl Button says, good morning. John Ward says, you're welcome. I'm not clever, just learned and share from the mistakes and hope others do to them. It cost you. Absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree, John. But John, I really appreciate you're always on there, and I don't always respond in the way like I want to respond. They're always like short replies, and that's because the amounts of people that go on the channel and comment. It's just good to just have a little chat this morning, see what people are doing, where you're from, before we get on and talk about the topic that I want to talk about this morning. Anyone else having trouble finding employees? Mike, I tell you what, mate, that's just. It's just, I think everybody's going through it at the moment. I think the world's absolutely changed. Richard Dowd says, does your daughter live over there, John? Yes, she does. She's been over there about, I think, over 4 years, I think now, and she does, and she loves it out there. And she's got a beautiful partner, and they're having a great time. They're enjoying life. They've got a beautiful family, and it's great. I love being over there. It's absolutely very inspiring when you actually go and have a look at Dubai and what they've achieved there in a short period of time, from where they were to where they are now. The buildings, everything, the interior design, the exterior design, the planting, how they go about their business, how they go about keeping things clean, etc. It's absolutely amazing, really, you know. And to be honest, the thing about Dubai is it's all about being tolerant of everyone, what everyone's beliefs are. Like, they're very tolerant of that. It's not what you probably think. It's worth a visit, but the only thing I would say, it's very expensive. And fortunately, we were able to stay with our daughter, so it kept the cost down, etc. Some of the hotels that we've stayed in before are absolutely beautiful, but the prices have gone through the roof. But the one thing that I actually like when I go to the hotels and visit these places is how they go about their landscaping is absolutely exceptional. And always you'll have comments of people saying on here and saying everywhere that it's been done on slave labor. That's what they say, you know. But those people that go and work there do have a better life than where they would be, where they came from. And the fact is, their lifestyle is improved. Not initially, but when they get on that ladder to progress, like all of us, and they don't know any different, you know. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. But the fact is, let's just get rid of that. The fact is, what you'll find out there is that they are improving on things, and they are improving on health and safety, etc., like that, you know. So things are changing, and things are changing because that has to change, because of progress, because the amounts of Europeans that actually start going there. John Ward says it's hard to find decent lads, but they are out there. But you do have to pay them the right pay, just like our prices, charges for the job to be done professionally, and we would falls into place. Yeah, John Ward's absolutely right there. I think the thing is, somebody mentioned about Mike Stapleton mentioned about does anybody have any problem getting staff at the moment? And John Ward's come back with this response. Yes, it's hard to find decent, honest lads, but they are out there, but you do have to pay them. Yeah, it needs to be reciprocated in some way. So, you know, you just got to pass the buck on, really, is that if you want good labour, the state of the market doesn't allow us to pay the rates as what some people were paying years ago. We have to pay that little bit extra. But if we're going to pay that extra, you do want some quality workmanship, and you want some quality tradesmen. And the thing is, I don't know if you think about this, John, and what you do, but you do train your guys up to a standard that is reciprocated with your business, and that's the standard that you want to actually work with. Look, we've got 9 live viewers, we've only got 5 likes, so get on there. If you don't know how to do it, just somebody tell us how to do the likes. Let's go on here. Larry, original Larry, is from the West Midlands. Let's have a look what Larry actually says there. Just get this up there. Larry says, from the West Midlands, going on my own in the groundworks landscaping business. I'll tell you something now, and I didn't realise this, and John will tell you, that sometimes that training is massively important. So if you are looking for any training, you can either come with me, or I can come with you for the day or 2 days or even a week. So if anybody wants any advice on training and how to do things, not just about how to lay a slab, but also how to run a business and how to use social media in a way that's effective and what's relevant to your marketplace that you hope to obtain to. Mike Stapleton says also the communication between client and employees. Yeah, I don't know if was that a question, Mike. I'm not quite sure what you meant by that. Whether it's whether I'm not quite sure what you said there, whether it was a question, also the communication between client and employees. Yeah, we need to communicate, and sometimes communication is a great skill. You need to articulate correctly what you want to try and get over, so it's absolutely precise, it's concise, and it's consistent. But what you'll find, no matter how many times that you do it, things get lost in translation, and they just do. And it doesn't matter how good you are at it. Hey, it's good to see Henry Flint has joined this morning, all from Elite Stone Tools. It's always good to run over some of the questions that I've had this week, and on my social media platforms. And I did a little video about some of the Ruby blades, but then I did a video about Henry's blades from Elite Stone Tools. It would actually be good in the future. I've even spoke to Henry about this. Maybe we're going to go up and we're going to do a vlog together and start talking. Maybe he's going to come down. I don't know what's going to happen. And we can start talking about blades, the importance of a good blade. One of the things that Henry is going to be producing, hopefully in the near future, is a blade, okay, that can actually cope with difficult porcelain, okay? And what do we mean by difficult porcelain? It's amazing, isn't it, how this conversation goes, because we touch upon one thing and then we touch upon another, and before we know it, an hour's gone. But what I'm going to talk about now at the moment, it's good to have Henry on here. And Henry, we want some response off you. You can share a link to your website. It'd be great to see. Sicker Live says, talking of trading, I've got you two 17-year-old labourers here with me today, and give them a shout out, Johnny. It's Liam and Ben. Liam and Ben, you are with a great guy. If you're watching this live stream now at the moment, you need to get on my channel. There's some great other channels out there. Get on there, have a look, check out the channels. You can learn online, okay? But if you want to spend a day with me, or if you want me to come up, I'm more than happy to do it, but it will cost you more than a breakfast. Luke says, Luke DeCosta says, how's everyone doing for work? I'm busy, but material costs is getting very, very hard to keep prices competitive. Top Notch says, good morning, Johnyboy. How's it going, bud? Nice to see you. John Wood says, I drive my lads constantly to be better, and if we need training to provide, but as it yet very few customers, I need to get my glasses up, very few customers ask for qualifications, but commercially it's totally different. But we see worse work. Yeah, absolutely. In commercial, do you know, John? I tell that's it. There you are, John Ward. You've touched upon something again, that in the commercial sector you probably need training to get into places, with your cards and your certificates, etc. But sometimes you see absolutely dreadful work in commercial sectors occasionally. So Henry was saying, I was talking about the porcelain. I'm bouncing around a little bit now, talking about porcelain, but it's great to have people talking. That's what I like. You made them very happy. Let's have a look at their names again there. We've got two 17-year-olds there working for Sick of Lies down there, and it's let's have a look. Liam and Ben, good to see you, bud. You honest. Let's get a picture over of them working. We'll share it on social media, Steve. Let's get it out there. Send me a picture of those lads working and what they're up to. You're in a good industry. Look, listen, guys, I got to go back to that. There's Liam and Ben there working for Steve there. Liam and Ben, two 17-year-olds. Listen, guys, stick at it. It's a great industry to be in. You're outdoors. You're changing the scenery from week to week, different projects, different places, different challenges, and it's good for the mind, good for the soul. So get on there. It's good to see Liam and Ben join us. Two good young lads. Steve, we want to see what they're doing. I'm actually blown away by that. The original Larry, says John Ward. Hi, Johnny. What would you recommend to clean porcelain? Well, I gotta say, I gotta say this, and I gotta say it honestly, right, is that I'm not going to be kind, because being kind is not a virtue. Being honest is a virtue, Being honest is a virtue. Being kind is not good always, but I think to clean porcelain, you really need to keep it clean as you go. Keep cleaning that sponge out, getting the water off, squeezing it out, wiping it, cleaning it as you go, and trying to get it done at the right time, and try and keep the jobs clean as you go. Sometimes it's very difficult to keep a project clean when you, like the current project we've got at the moment, it's a small area, trying to work around, trying to maneuver around, you're dragging mud everywhere, and it's a bit of a pain. And it's difficult. It really is difficult in a smaller area. When you've got good access all the way around, you've had those jobs in the back lane sometimes, and you're on an end terrace, and you've got open space, and it's just, makes it easy to clean, so you don't have to walk on the pavement that you've actually laid the day before. Let me just go back to some of the questions there and comments. You made them very happy, says Steve. You need any help, Larry? We are solely on base. There we go. That's how this works. That's how this community works. We're caring and sharing on here. We are hopefully taking on 2 apprentices, lads, in September. Looking forward to seeing that, Mike. Keep us updated. We want to know what's going on with you and your business. The original Larry says, regards to starting, I do a lot of my own, but it's a struggle to get help and more labour jobs like concreting. Do you know what you got to actually do? And I'll be honest with you, John V's on here. Hi, Johnny, what would you recommend to clean porcelain? We're going to get onto that in a sec. What you need to do, if like when you use your social media to actually get work, okay, to showcase it, this is what you need to do. People don't realise that you probably need to talk about your business, who you are, what you're doing, what you can offer potential young people to come and work for you, or older people. It doesn't really make a difference. When I think of age, there was 2 contractors this week, Willow Landscapes down in Col. You've got 2 great lads, John and Martin. They're older than me and still trading, still doing that job, still shoveling, doing the daily grind day in, day out. Like, so I like to think that whatever I do next in my life, wherever I'm going, and I'm 57, I like to think that the next stage is going to be my apprenticeship. Okay, that's how I view it, and that's how I see it. 14 live viewers, absolutely fantastic. We've only had 6 likes. Get on there. I want to see a thumbs up, and I want to see a like coming through now. Look, we've digressed a little bit. John Ward says concreting is a job in its own. Get it wrong and you will struggle. It takes time and experience. Is that the key? Is the words, Larry? Has anybody seen hot pouring concrete? Have you seen hot pour concrete? Okay, it's where they have hot water and they put things like flute calcium chloride to actually accelerate the curing time. And John, I've been actually thinking about this all week. One of the things that, well, I'm going to talk about. Let me just talk about Henry at the moment. Henry says we currently have 2 porcelain blades available, super thin mesh and super thin turbo, but we have the 3rd blade coming soon, which is from testing so far and has great results from that harder porcelain. When we talk about harder porcelain, what's happening at the moment, and I don't know if any of you guys know that some of the clay that is produced in porcelain is actually from the Ukraine, okay? Some of the clays that go into porcelain manufacturing across Italy, down into Spain, and obviously they sell it everywhere. It's in the Ukraine, so I don't think they're exporting anything at the moment from there. Traveling with mask. Hi, how are you? I'm good, bud. I'd like to know where you are. Every day, yes, traveling with mask, we want to know where you are. Every day is an apprenticeship. Learn, educate yourself, question, being understanding, and stop and think. Yeah, absolutely. John, do you know, honest mate, this is what I do. This is one thing I've applied over the years. I don't want to go 100 miles an hour like I used to, and just absolutely crazy. 17, 18 live viewers, 9 likes. Get on there, guys. Give it a like. Traveler Man says, I have a question. Where from you buy sandstone? Where do I buy sandstone? Well, I'll be honest with you. One sec. This has been a bit sort of quite high tempo this morning, isn't it? It's like a bit of a rave at the moment going on. So many questions. Where do I buy sandstone from? Well, I have a group sponsor on the Landscape and Survival group. It's a group that's on Facebook. Go out there, check it out. Landscape and Survival with Johnyboy. Get on there. If you're a contractor, you can actually join it. And I don't buy any sandstone off them because I haven't used sandstone for a while. But it's Chris Ayres at Sandstone Supplies in Cheshire. Chris Ayres at Sandstone Supplies. Go and check him out. He's a great guy. He runs his business with his wife Liz up there. They're a family-run, orientated business. They got some fantastic offices, and I should be doing a live feed with them hopefully this year at some point. Go on there, check them out, and check out their sandstone. But it doesn't mean to say you can't check out anyone else's sandstone. I don't have actually any preference. Sandstone is sandstone. You just got to watch the quality of what you're actually getting and just check it out. Sandstone seems to be very thin these days, and sandstone has a high porosity and it will suck the moisture out. John, I'm going to see if I can pick up John Ward at the moment. We've got 15 live viewers and only 10 likes. Come on, give us a thumbs up. One of the things I've been talking about, one of the things I have regular, John, quite agree, John. Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, bud. Thanks very much. I think that was to John Ward. One of the things is that when people say to me, they talk about doing a wet mix when they're laying paving, and they say they put the paving down and it sticks. It sticks, okay? How do you find granite long term, John? I love the look of it, but I would be better with granite effect porcelain. Well, look, the thing is about any porcelain now, any porcelain is they can actually, suppliers now can actually go what porcelain makers actually want off the people that retail their products. They want information. They want information off you guys of what you're looking for. The beauty about porcelain manufacturers is that they actually can recreate an image, okay, through the digital photographic industry. They can replicate the look, okay, quite detailed. What's the word? The resolution is quite intense now with the photography that is out there, and then what they can actually do, then they can replicate actually the texture. But they just want to know off you guys. 13 likes. Offer them to buy sandstone from my company. We have our own quarry and manufacturing plant in India. Right. Okay. How can I offer them to buy sandstone from my company? What you need to do, you need to speak to me. Because that's what I can do. We got Justin here, my mate there. Justin down there in Pontypridd, Brickwright, travelling with Mass. And you need to go and have a look at his channel on there. Hi, John, been so busy. Hope you're well, mate. John, I hope we need to sometime this year because I owe you a pint, mate, and I haven't forgot about it. You coming out me out a little while ago. Listen, no matter where you buy it from, price or price, there are some awful unregulated stuff out there. So be very careful, lads. Yeah, and that's a good advice there from John Wood. Be very careful about what you're buying and how you're going about it. We could talk about laying methods all the time. John Ward, what I was actually discussing this morning is that a lot of guys, they come on the channel and they believe that putting a slab down on a wet mix, and they said it holds, it sucks down, it's in place. In my opinion, and I know it's true, all right, and I really believe in this, the more water you add to any mix, even concrete, is detrimental. It causes problems. It's not the way forward. It's not the way to do things. Water will hydrate, okay? By adding more water, you cause segregation. I wrote a few notes down about producing a good mix. And this is what I was going to get onto this morning, John, was that, you know, over the years on site, you would have like maybe 10 ton of sand delivered, and you see the bricklayers on site mixing off the ground. They get their mix on, they put copious amounts of fairy liquid in there, and then they would produce a mix. And the question is, how consistent are they in producing mixes? So as the years went on, then you would have like skip loads of Lamatex as they used to do it, and now it's batched, delivered to site, and in some cases they have the batches on site with the mix already done and produced there, and it's all individually measured exactly down to a T. So when you actually look, sandstone, marble, granite, slate, stones, cobbles, I don't know. Well, to be honest, traveling with Mask, this channel isn't for you to advertise on really at the moment. So, you know, just hang on a minute, just slow up a little bit. Justin, they're talking to each other. So what I was talking about is that over the years, they've been a little bit more precise in their measuring of their mortars, okay? And you can get it delivered to a site. But the thing is, what I want to try and point out is that, do we actually think about what mortars that we actually use? The reason that they batch the way they do now, because it's about accountability, of course, okay? It's about accountability. No worries, traveling with Mass, that's no problem at all. So it's about accountability. It's so important that you actually, companies actually produce the right mortars, because they don't want any recourse on the problems in the future. All good, JW, they're reading to talk to each other, that's great. So the question I was asking myself, I know there are mortars out there you can actually buy to actually start laying out. They've actually been produced and manufactured in factory conditions and produced in a lab by chemists or whoever, but people that know exactly about what goes on. So a few things to consider when putting too much water in your mortar. Getting a bit lost for words at the moment because I'm trying to read people's comments as they come up there. So things to consider when using too much water in any mortar or even concrete. John Mortar says, water is the enemy of mortar, believe it or not. Hence, the Hoover Dam in the US is still in the center and is still not set. There you go. It's about moisture. There we are. So, and I'm going to get onto that. So, if we look at concrete and we compared it to a sponge, it is actually, believe it or not, right, it's full of pores, okay? Aeration all the way through. Looking forward to the next video, Justin, Brickwright, Luke DeCosta. Oh, great. So when we look at all those pores, the pores can be a problem. If you have a tighter pore, what you'll have a higher rise in moisture, but there'd be less likelihood, a chance of any freeze bubbles in that smaller pore. In the greater pores, what we call the capillary pores, or the air pores rather, right, there's bigger voids for actually bubbles to freeze, for that freeze-thaw effect, which can actually be a problem. The other thing, of course, is that when you put too much water, you're diluting the cement base itself, the cement paste. So increasing in water permeability. So more water you put in anything, what's going to actually happen there, right, is that you're going to increase the permeability. The last thing you want is high permeability, because when you have high permeability, it creates damp. That's when you get, and there's no ifs or buts about it, creates damp, and then that's when you get that freeze-thaw effect. Over long term, your paving will pop. It doesn't even matter even if you've got any priming slurry on there. That will help, but you have to consider also, it's okay putting priming slurry on there. On a wet mix, it's just not the right thing to do. It's just not, okay? Number one, to tap water down, fluid is the less likely product to actually be compressed. They use liquids in hydraulics, okay, because it has no compaction at all, okay? It just stays the same volume. It doesn't go anywhere, right? So, but what happens is that if you put too much water in your laying bed, what's going to happen is that when you get that rapid hydration, when it dries out, right, what's going to happen is that's when you get the delamination of your paving. The other thing, of course, you're left with a honeycomb bed, which actually is no good, which allows water and moisture to wick up, creating damp in your paving, in your substructure, and then what happens is then you'll get that freeze-thaw effect, and it can be a problem. And the other thing, of course, is that obviously more water you put in, you lose that compressive strength. That's what I was actually talking about. You lose compressive strength. So the less water you put in your mortar is better. Developing voids. I wrote a few notes down here. Can create a honeycomb structure, as I've mentioned. It decreases the strength and durability of mortars or even concrete. Chances of segregation. We talk about segregation. What is segregation? It's almost, well, what it is basically is separation between the aggregate, the stone, the sand particle, the gritty product, the cement, and it causes segregation. Nothing stops water from expanding or contracting, hence burst pipes. So the least we use is better. John, give you a ring next week, mate. Catch it. I'd be love to, just. So I will, just without a doubt. So John Ward said there about the expansion. Did you know actually water will expand by 9%? 9%. You got to understand is that your structure, whatever you're doing, whether it's your mortar, whether it's a lean mix, what happens is if you get water in there, starts freezing, it will expand by 9%. Chances of segregation. Segregation is when you get the separation of your particles. Just in the same way, if you mix it too dry with a screed mix, that's why they use forced paddle mixers. In the other way, they use forced paddle mixers because they get the right consistency. It mixes, it avoids the segregation. If you try to do a screed mix in a mixer, you will get segregation. You'll get segregation of the cement paste and also the particles as well, believe it or not. So when you put too much water in a mixer, it has the same effect in that way. So segregation of particles, decrease in strength, okay? Decrease in the longevity. Got a few more we have to read out on here. So when we talk about capillary tension is basically the water that gets drawn up to the top, the water on the top, and then that's when it's affected by the freeze-thaw effect. High permeability. Is there a calculation of how much water you should use? Yes, there is, and there is in concrete, depending on conditions. I've been watching a video this morning in the States. They used hot pours, okay? They put hot water in their pours in freezing conditions. And then they put things called fluke calcium chloride, which is an accelerator. So it's all very, very technical, but it does make a difference. So the question and the point that I'm making this morning, are we producing our laying beds correctly? Because when I see all those people out there questioning, saying that they're using a wet mix, it absolutely drives me insane. It's just not good for a number of reasons, what I've just covered again. We're going to have to go through this again. People are going to ask questions about this again, but it's so important. Do you know the ironic thing is, John Ward, I remember watching a documentary, and if this is the funny thing, probably about 10 years ago, when they was, or if it was 10 years ago, is when they were building the Burj Khalifa, to get the concrete to the top, and they had to pump it up, and it was taking to get it there, right? They were worried about the concrete heating up and drying too fast. So what they were actually doing, they were actually putting frost and ice particles within the concrete to keep it cool, okay? To keep it cool. It seems really strange, doesn't it? But it was, to try and understand how the science works is really difficult. But don't overthink it too much. But what we got to try and do is reduce the water at this point. That's all you need to think. When I watched this video this morning, I'll try and share it to you. They were doing a hot pour in the States. And as I said, they were putting fluke calcium chloride accelerator. And what they had done, they put insulated mats. It was for a garage, okay? It was a pour in a garage. They had like, I think it was like a 4-inch fall from front to back. I don't know what the distance was, and it was about 900 square feet. And what they actually done was they had insulated mats over the base, and underneath they had steel, but it was going on. There was a gravel base underneath. There was not insulation underneath there. It was a gravel base. And what they done, he said that the stone would be cold, but it wasn't freezing at the point because it was insulated. Then they did the hot pour on the top. I haven't finished watching all of it, but there are ways and methods. So what he done, he kept his base so it wasn't actually frozen. It was cold, but it wasn't frozen in itself. Okay, then they did a hot pour. They used that fluke calcium chloride as an accelerator. So it's all exact science. So what we got to try and do occasionally, we got to think about how we're doing and what we're doing. And, you know, putting too much water, as I've said so many times, is not good. Even in the summer, you'll get rapid dehydration or hydration rather, of your mortar. It's going to suck out. That sandstone's going to suck all that water out, and it doesn't make no difference whether you've got a bridge bond on there or not. It will separate at some point, and it will. And it'll separate because you've got high porosity value, big pores, and you'll get that freeze thaw effect. We use very little water in our mix, and about 8 weeks ago, all going well. Up. Yeah, absolutely. So that's the other reason why John Ward doesn't actually put too much water in his mortar, because you just don't know what the weather conditions are sometimes in this country when the skies open up. So lots of things to consider. The other thing, of course, is that if you put too much cement, you'll get cracking and shrinkage and curling of the cement, because what people got to try and realize is that as cement cures, it heats up, it gets warmer and warmer, and you'll get cracking, shrinkage and curling. It will do all sorts of things, and you probably don't realize this. You know, wasn't it just a while ago, John, where I think that a lot of people weren't even using bridge bonds? They never even used slurries and primers and bridge bonds. They never used them before, but it was something that we used to do regular on a basis years ago. When we set the cobbles in, we dip it in a bucket and put it in our screed mix to ensure that it would stick to that screed when we're laying the granite cobbles. It's what we've done. And, you know, it just kept things in place, gave it longevity, it gave it compressive strength, it gave it durability, and it was going to last. So it's only in recent years that a lot of people producing these priming slurries, because the paving's become so thinner than what it was. When we think of porcelain has probably 0.02% porosity value, okay? And they still using priming slurries for that to make sure it stays in place and it doesn't break away. My advice to anybody, and I had somebody the other day question on YouTube, they said that they use this wet mix, and I'm going on about it now because it actually drove me insane, to be honest. There you go, John's mentioned a key word there, which is talking about slumps, we have a slump test or some of our contracted concrete pours for base for phone mass. When we look at a slump test, I know in certain places they measure it on 1 to 10, 1 being really stiff, and then my head's gone. 10 being really, really wet. You don't want it really wet and you don't want it too stiff. You got to get it just right. You just got to get it just right. Excessive cement is not guaranteed high strength, so the more cement you actually put in something is not good. And the other thing we have to consider when we're building those walls and we've got the mortar on the board, by adding more water just to wet it up to give it sort of a pliability is not a good thing as well. We probably have to think about how much mortar we're actually putting on that board if you're mixing it yourself. Yes, many years ago, dipped all curved edges and cement and PVA before install. Well, there we are. Things have moved on, John, haven't they? Things have moved on, and sometimes not necessarily for the better, not for the worse, etc. Hey guys, on another note, there's a friend of mine who's a landscaper up there in Sheffield, Chameleon Landscapes. You know, you've heard of him, Patrick Dwyer. He's been on here before. He's done a few calls. And I don't know if you're actually watching this, Patrick. Now, Patrick now is actually currently traveling in an ambulance from Austria all the way back to Sheffield, I believe, in a private ambulance. And I can say it because a lot of people know about it. His daughter was taken pretty ill. She, touch wood, she's in recovery mode now, so she's feeling a lot better. So massive shout out to Patrick Dyer, and have a look. Chameleon Landscapes. I'd like to give people a shout out. There's lots of things I can actually talk about this morning, but I got a lot of things to do today as well. Thank you very much for all of you joining. I'm not going to go anywhere just for a moment because I just want to go back to my channel and probably want to read some of the comments so I can actually answer them here. So we got Lee there, all dry blades cut better with water. Elite Stone tools are top notch. Thin mesh blade for gas saw, and the best out there for value for performance. Dry cut 125 grinder blades seen to be the best performance. Also table saw, he says Palvex just edges it for me, but the use of Elite Stone thin mesh #1 on the Ruby as well. So that's what he said about Ruby. Good to see Lee actually talking about that. Derek Crawford says, "Hi Johnny, here's a question. Me missus wants a porcelain patio laying 10 mils. We got the tiles delivered, but as soon as we knock one of those edges, they chip." Let's have a look. Yeah. Well, I'll be honest, Derek, I'm going to respond to that now. When they are down and grouted, all the damage, can't it, you know? So if you're using a porcelain, moving them around, laying them, you need to take extra care about how you're going about it. David Graham says minimum overnight temperatures for laying. Some lovely days here in Scotland, but overnight temperatures dropping down to -1, -2. There are ways to work around that. Great, Dave Graham. Yeah, but it'd be interesting to see what you're actually doing at there, mate. Thanks for sharing. That's a great tip. Liam Robinson, "Hi Johnny, do your blades work until the mesh is all gone? I've used ruby and ox blades, and even when I try to clean them with sharpening stone or concrete, it cuts very bad before, and even half of the mesh wears down like it would on a standard concrete or cutting blade. Cheers." Well, I think what you've got to actually think about, it's not necessarily some of the blades before. You used to see them wearing down on the disc cutter, and they will wear down because people overuse them. But what you've got to consider is the amount of diamond that actually is in the mesh that's going around, and you know, and you'll have those blades that they do wear down, but you actually got to, like I said, think about the diamond, think how you're maintaining them, cleaning the binding that builds up between the diamond. It's so important. What I would say, Liam, I'm going to be responding to that, but I did a little short video, diamond cutting blades for porcelain. Go on there, check it out, and have a quick look. I just talked about Henry's blades there. You want a blade that's value for money. You've got to find something that actually ticks all the boxes. And without doubt, Henry at Elite Stone Tools actually works for me. Don't use, somebody says on here, got to read it out because it's on here, it's in the public domain. Don't use Seeker Fast Fix. He says it's crap, and I don't know. I've never used Seeker Fast Fix. if anybody can actually throw some light on that, be interested to see what people say. John Ward, there he is. John Ward says, wow, that's incredible, them cuts by hand. Yeah, we did a lot of cutting of slate, Brazilian slate, and we cut it from a 900 by 600. Huge amount of work cutting it. Could we have had them cut with the water cutting services that are out there? Yes, we probably could have had it cut. So John Ward says, there's incredible amounts of cuts. We use them, we used to farm them out, but the old boy we used to do it for us has retired. Lazy bugger, lol. Yeah, mate, your saw is only as good as your blade. We find out a cut of sandstone does the trick. Find it and to use it. So what John's saying there. So do a cut out of sandstone. He said that cleans it up and does the trick. Lovely blades. Then we need to order 2 times 4 inch. So Henry, you need to get on there. John needs to order some blades. So get on the YouTube channel and have a look on there. Well, I ain't gonna read what his comments are because I'm not sure what he's. It's amazing, isn't it? You know, social media is what we're doing, and what we're all doing. We're doing social media now. Some of the comments you have on here is you just got to ignore them, or just remove them, or delete them, or even block them in some cases. What sort of sand are you leveling? I don't know. There's in that picture there. Yeah, Joe, I can never see anything. Is there ever been a 45mm slab or block paving brick in a 15mm for a drive? Has there ever been a 45mm? I don't know if anybody. I'll read the question out again. He says, "Is there ever been a 45mm slab?" I'm not sure what he's meaning on there. It's a bit of a stalker, I think. I bet Johnny does. All right, we'll read that one out. Promo codes. We'll get these people advertising the program. That's enough of that. It's good to see people. Thanks for everybody commenting on that. Just go back to this live feed at the moment and have a look. Saturday morning live. Got a few people coming in there. Let's have a look what people are actually saying there. John Ward says, you will never cut anything neat unless you've got a good blade, not to withstand some time and a bad composite. Always run your blade after a few cuts on a bit of sharpening material. Yeah, John, we've said this. People need to sort of listen and sort of apply it. But there's new people coming all the time, so we need to remind it. Cheers for the call last night, Johnny. That's Danny there. What was the company for the blades again? There we are. There we go. The blade company is Elite Stone Tools. Speak to Henry. Mim and David goes on about mentioning about the temperatures dropping. Hey guys, check out YouTube. It's a great resource page, not just my channel, but there's loads of stuff out there on this. So much to learn, and it's very easy when it's a visual. Look, that's it. We've done 42 minutes. I'm absolutely starving. I need a cup of tea. Debbie McGee hasn't brought me one in yet again. I don't know what's happening here. It's all going downhill. I haven't worn my glasses today. Just like to say, nobody's mentioned that I got that beautiful tan and I'm looking handsome today. I've had a shave for you today, and I still have. I was going to do non-uniform day today, but I still have my Greentop Landscapes top on. Guys, the other thing I actually want to talk about is that, you know, I put myself out for hire. It's as simple as that. I've got a lot of work on, and what you get for that is not necessarily, it's not about me earning money, it's about me helping you, but it helps to cover my expenses. If anybody's interested in getting me on a job for the day, I have to cover my costs, of course, but I would come along, help you, and tell you all the things that I know, and you can work it out and think what you can have a think about what I've said to you, and you can process that and see what you actually think about what I think of the industry and how to go about things. But one thing that I do know is I know how to make a channel where we pull in the people, how to get interaction with other people, how to interact with your customers, how to make a noise and how to make a sale. That's something I can actually talk to you about. Sometimes you'll find with these live feeds, it's a bit fast and furious because time is of the essence. Time is of the essence. I've got a lot of things to do today. I'm going to get at that front today. I'm not necessarily. I'm going to make a little bit of a vlog on it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start clearing my borders out, working back. It took me ages to clean the leaves up. I only done it about a few weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Finally got rid of all the leaves. They seem to hang on the trees for ages. Then I'm going to make my way back down to my van, and I've got to clean the back of the van out. I've got to get some things out, have a tidy up around here, and get in the undisclosed location. And I've got that new awning. Just remember, the awning I've actually got is from Rock Awnings. It's the 55X, I think it is. So I'm going to get in there and maybe do a little video in there. John Wood says, enjoy the weekend, John and Alison. Stay safe and well. John, thank you very much. It'd be good to talk to you soon. It'd be good to meet up sometime in the future. You probably don't realise how valuable these videos are. People will re-watch them at a later date. You'll be surprised at people that jump in and jump out because they've got a lot of things to do. They don't want to hear me going on all day. But they'll listen to, and they'll, when they join these live streams, they'll actually see some of the comments and they'll see the value in it. They'll see the worth in it, you know. So lots of things to talk about. We talk about things on a regular basis, about price increases and even the R word, or whether it's going to happen or whether it doesn't happen. The R word. I'm not going to mention what it actually stands for because Alison will tell me off. But I think it's on the way. I've got to mention it. So we've got to make sure we put things in place now. So I'm just here to remind you. You need to go into this period. If we are going to have a recession, I'm going to say it. If we are going to have a recession, you need to be in a good place. But remember what David Cameron said, right? Whether you like David Cameron or whether you don't, whether you believed in his policies, I remember him saying to somebody that I actually knew once, and he asked him a question, and he asked Cameron what he was going to do to keep the economy going. And Cameron said, I'll get back to you in a minute on that one. He went round the room, spoke to people, and he spoke to this guy called Kevin, who's a very nice guy. And he said, you know, Kev, what we're going to do to keep the economy going? He said, we're going to build, and we're going to build a bit more, and we're going to build again. There's no doubt in this country, there's still a national house shortage across the country. So the building industry is going to go on, okay? It's going to go on. And I think that what we got to try and do is we got to take confidence in that. It's got to carry on going. People still need places to live, but I think it will slow up. The economy will slow up without a shadow of doubt. We only just got over COVID, and we're still talking about that now, and it's still having some effect, and it's going to have some of effect because the money they spent on it. But also, this war in Ukraine isn't good at all, okay? It's not good at all. Very valuable, says the original Larry. It's good to have you on, mate. Thanks for joining, and I appreciate your contribution to this live stream. And once again, I appreciate everybody's contribution to this live stream, and I really appreciate it. And thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. The other thing I want to know is, am I saying porcelain correctly or not correctly? So I had one guy this week on my YouTube channel telling me that I'm not saying porcelain right. So maybe I've said it too many times. Maybe I'm sick of it. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for joining the live stream. We're nearly hitting the 50 minutes. That will actually do it for me today. I'm going to have a cup of tea, sit down, then I'm going to get on with it. Or do I get on with it straight away? What we should have me doing today, I don't know. But look, have a great day. 17 likes. Really, really appreciate it. The most important thing, enjoy life. Be safe. I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. Thanks for joining. And we will be back again next week. Same time, 10:30. Don't be late, John Ward. All the best. Bye.